So Victoria has recorded 22 new coronavirus cases overnight. ABC analyst Casey Briggs joins us now to break down the latest figures on coronavirus both here in Australia and overseas. So Casey, yeah, this is the worst day for quite some time for Australia, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Joe. You actually have to go back 15 days to see numbers as high as what we've already seen this morning. I think it was cases in the 40s on 15 days ago, and we haven't seen anything higher than 23 since. So one in New South Wales, fantastic result. The smallest number New South Wales has seen in quite some time. Victoria, though, recording 22. Now, 19 of those are in the same abattoir meatpacking workplace, and that's sort of consistent with some of the patterns, you know, in the US where we've got lots of data. The most serious outbreaks have been, well, where have they been? They've been in aged care homes, they've been in prisons, they've been in cruise ships around the world, and they've been in abattoirs. So it's the kinds of places where lots of people are working in close quarters. They can't work from home, and there's probably financial incentive for lots of those workers to come into work where this sort of virus can take hold, and just gives you further evidence of just how hard this thing is to eliminate. The good thing, though, is today is that testing rates, we're actually seeing some very healthy numbers. This is over the weekend. We're seeing numbers like 21,000 tests, 22,000 tests done each day, and it doesn't include 13,000 tests that Victoria did yesterday. They'll probably show up in tomorrow's numbers, but 13,000 of them is a very healthy number. So although the fact that we've got one particular outbreak of concern is worrying, the challenge now, while they're doing all these testing and making sure there's, you know, not other infections and outbreaks in the rest of the community, the challenge for health authorities is to jump on that one outbreak, control it as fast as possible to stamp it out.
And Casey, is 13,000 the biggest single contribution to testing by any state or territory that you can remember through this pandemic?
It's certainly the highest number I can remember. I can't remember seeing any number that big. I just got to check to see 13,000 tests done doesn't necessarily mean 13,000 tests reported in one day. Depends on how long the tests take to come back. So I've just got to check those figures, but it does look to me like the single biggest testing of any jurisdiction in a single day, yes.
And what's the latest on the situation in the USA?
Yeah, we're talking quite a bit about the USA for a few different reasons. One is that it is the single biggest source of deaths around the country still. Sorry, let me bring up the US chart. Let me actually bring up this chart. Sorry, apologies. There's one thing I wanted to show you. The US is still recording, you know, as high as 2,000 deaths a day, but there's a lot of variability in the numbers across a week. This is just New York. You can see New York is on the way down. The rate of deaths in New York has been slowing quite dramatically in the last few weeks, but the rest of the country is not seeing the same pattern. The rest of the country appears to still be climbing the curve. This is all states except New York, where we're still seeing, so overnight, overnight 1,300, 1,500 deaths, 1,900 deaths. Now, where New York was once the single biggest source of deaths in the US, we're now seeing other states taking a much bigger share. What does that mean? Well, we're still seeing, as you can see, this weekly this weekly variation in tests. So one thing we can do just to sort of smooth that out and get a bit of a clearer idea of where the trend is going is smooth this out with an average across a week. If we look at each day how many cases there have been in the previous week, this is the entire country, and you can see averaging over a week now around 1,800 a day, very slowly ticking downwards. So the US situation is improving, but not as fast as New York State's numbers would have you believe, and possibly not as fast as as you would believe, given that more than 20 states are now easing restrictions across that country as well.
Okay, Casey Briggs reporting there.